Hello, my name is Patrick Bourne. I'm a technical marketing engineer here at Cisco. Today I'm going to introduce you to the UCM Cloud Migration Assistant utility. So you may have been to cisco.com go-CT, that's collaboration transitions, and been looking at how to transition or migrate from UCM to UCM Cloud. And we've actually got a bunch of, the TMEs have got to put together a bunch of documentation for you. So you go to the calling workflow, and down near the bottom, you look at calling on premises as the type or the start, and the target is UCM Cloud. And you can either look at the transition map if you want to make some kind of decision maker deck, or the actual deployment guide, which will show you some technical detail on it. And so to that end, I want to introduce you to the Migration Assistant utility. So the UCM Cloud Migration Assistant utility is deployed as a virtual machine. So you deploy it, console into it, set up the interfaces, passwords, all those good things, and you can SSH into it if you need, configure some more, and finally you end up with a web user interface like I'm showing here. And what we're looking at is two types of users. You have the administrator user and also a migration assistant user. So for right now, we're working as a platform administrator and start off at looking at the interfaces. And the idea here is you set up a source and a target. Source being your on-premises UCM cluster, and your target is your UCM cloud cluster. So in this case, I've actually labeled them just to make it a little easier to follow. Now I'm going to change to the migration assistant role. And I've already configured a migration, which is as simple as going in and saying you want to have a new migration, and you select your source, target, and what you want to call your cloud and your region that you're in, and the schema that is you're going to use, and then dial plan, whether you want to push from templates or clone it, depending on what you want to do. So as I say, I've already done it. So for the purposes of this demo, I'll show you got one site. That's really looking at your dial plan. You have the concept of multiple sites based on your dial plan. And I've already gone through the whole process, and so I've already migrated, but I'll show you what it looks like. So the first thing that happens is Migration Assistant interrogates the system, your source system, and sees what's there, and then it loads the contents of the source system into its local database, allows you to make any changes you need to, for example, to the dial plan, or if you want to clone it, you can do that, and then finally it moves it to the target, and that's called moving. So in this case, you'll see that I've prepared a site, I loaded the site, and I moved the site, and so that's essentially the migration is complete. And then finally, the last thing you want to do is move your phones over. So you want to reset your initial trust list, and you can do that. And you can even have your own scripts if you're an advanced user. But if you feel that this is beyond you, never fear. You can actually get services where folk will help you using this tool to migrate a large amount of users and their devices and their dial plans and all that good stuff across to your new UCM Cloud target. So that way you can essentially allow your folk, if it makes sense, to keep their original dialing habits. And I've got some screens to show you what it looks like, some of the examples. Of course, it wouldn't make sense in this demo to try and do it live. So you can have the idea, the source map objects, and you've got target mappings that give you an idea of the kinds of things you can do. And blue shows you what happened in the migration that I've just completed. Here's what happens when things don't go so well, and you'll see there's validation events that before you can move, you've got to clean it up, because otherwise, if you put garbage in, you're going to get garbage out. So garbage into Migration Assistant equals garbage out, which is in your target. Maybe you want that. So if you do, that's fine. You can simply ignore the rules and take what you got and push it up into the cloud. But it's probably better to clean it up before you send it. So this is an example of some messages you may see. There's a summary to describe what's going on, and assuming you want to take care of it, you can then click on the Issues and Resolutions tab, and in this case it describes the issue and suggests resolutions. You can click on that manually map it if you want. Once you manually map it, you can mark it as fixed, or if you want, you can simply disable the rule and clear the issue. Give you an idea of some of the rules. So you can see, are these rules enabled? yes or no. So I've disabled a few of them. For example, I said I don't care if some of my users don't have email addresses. And then you can get an idea of some of the tasks that have completed and when they were run. Thank you.